Welcome back to Ronnie's Reconciliatory Reviews. Today I'm talking about Kanye West. Wait, don't click off. I promise this review isn't going to remind you too much of Kanye's presence in modern society and how we've all been collectively trying to ignore him. I won't read off any of his tweets. I'm just here to talk about his new album, his return to form, if you will. If you haven't heard, Kanye has been releasing teasers for his newest project since September of 2024, and I, agreeing with the popular consensus, have been ignoring it because I have better things to do, and he eventually dropped the album at the end of March about 3 weeks ago, and I didn't listen to it because I have better things to do, and guess what? I don't have any more better things to do. So I listened to it the morning of writing this, and I'm here to ask the question for you, is it worth it? Should you be turning this review off and jumping straight into Kanye West's new album right this second? Absolutely. Here's why Bully is the greatest album of the 21st century. No, just kidding. This album stinks and it made me mad. Obviously, this is the type of album that's impossible to look at without bias, considering the shitstorm that surrounds this man, but I can separate the art from the artist. Now, some art is pretty inseparable, and you can always feel the presence of the artist and the influences that led to the art, and I will get into that more when I talk about the lyrics, but even ignoring that, this album is still a disappointment to me on a production level. It is undeniable that Kanye is an incredible producer. His ear and his ability to use samples and make iconic beats out of soul samples in particular, his creativity to chop these samples, to interact with the samples in his raps, all undeniable, and you could even hear some of that technique on Bully, but it's not the same. It feels like he's trying to recapture that magic without taking the time to put all these pieces together. It's like a retired and senile chef failing to make their signature meal. Let's take a look at one of my favorite Kanye beats, Still Dreaming on Nas's 2007 album Hip Hop Is Dead, featuring Chrisette Michele and Kanye.
1, 2, 1, 2. Some dreams they dream, some dreams come true. 1, 2, 1, 2. Some dreams they dream, some dreams come true.
The main sample used is Chrisette Michele interpolating Diana Ross's The Interim. He used the same technique on the iconic All Falls Down interpolation of Lauryn Hill. It's that chopped up vocal loop combined with the iconic Bill Withers Use Me drum break you might recognize from Sing About Me I'm Dying of Thirst by Kendrick. And that's it. Drums, guitar, vocal sample. There's a few main elements, and yet they're pieced together so naturally that you don't even think about it. That's the kind of production that you could build a whole song out of, with a defined hook and 3 incredible verses that are all themed and interacting with the sample. Now let's take a look at the track Punch Drunk off Bully. It uses a classic sounding Kanye soul sample. It's like his whole forte. You should absolutely nail this.
This time we're taking over. Out of space going solar. Back then they showed no love. Punch drunk, hungover. Punch drunk, hungover.
Maybe you found that clip enjoyable, but to me, it just sounds empty. There's no added drums to give it more punch, there's no added anything to make it feel fuller and more complete, there's no real interaction or harmony between Kanye and the beat. It just feels flat to me, and it zips by in less than 2 minutes, in and out. Don't get me wrong, I don't dislike it because it's too short. I don't put any weight on song length, only how that song length is used. One of my favorite albums, Velocity Design Comfort, has an average song length of 5 minutes, with songs ranging from 3 to 10 minutes. And it doesn't drag on for me because the songs feel full and complete. Donuts by J Dilla, another favorite of mine, has an average song length of about 1 minute and 20 seconds, and it doesn't feel rushed because each song feels natural and to the point. You can make a complete sounding song that's super short, but it's just a lot harder. Hunger by Mike has been on repeat as of late, and it's just barely over a minute. It works because every element comes together correctly, and so much creativity is packed in, leaving you wanting more without feeling empty.
Lift, got the room spinning, deleting mail, making room for some new business. Running fade at the shoe fitting. My mother's face seemed new to me every time I hit the folders for a better time.
I know it feels like I'm only making comparisons, and I want to give this album the space to be its own album, but the decisions in the production make it hard not to compare. Bringing it back to Donuts by J Dilla, Kanye actually used a sample that was also used on Donuts. Both Preacher Man and Last Donut of the Night sample To You With Love by The Moments.
I walk up to the preacher man just to take your lovely hand and give to you. I give to you, and I
Again, you might enjoy Preacher Man, but especially contrast with Last Donut, it feels so empty. The chops aren't bad, the technicality of the production isn't bad, but it's so echoey and lacking flow. The only part where it starts getting somewhere is in the last 30 seconds of the song, where Kanye just basically plays an unedited clip of the Moment sample. J Dilla doesn't do anything crazy with the production on Last Donut, most of it's just a simple loop, but it's a beautiful loop with just enough added elements to make it feel distinct, full, and on brand. Kanye also uses a sample that Madlib used on One Beer by MF Doom with the track Circles. With such an iconic beat by another iconic producer, I think it takes a lot to live up to the comparison, and Kanye just doesn't come close with this song. It's a passable loop with decently natural sounding commendatory drums, but it just doesn't lead anywhere and just sputters off. Many producers have used the sample over the years, like Tyler the Creator and Bastard for example. Palaway, one of the most underrated new rappers, also rapped over the sample on a beat produced by Mad Dave.
I'm a sad girl some days, but you lucky it's my good day. Corny bars okay though once a while. Mush it up, turn it to style. Learn that from a biracial king, inspiration from a mile away.
It's only a slight remix of the One Beer beat without any new elements, just a different chop pattern. But it sounds just different enough while also being an obvious homage. Song after song, the album continues to leave me feeling empty. And it's not only because it reminds me of better songs. We could take a look at a few songs that aren't specifically connected to any other better rap songs. The opener titled King is a pretty unique sounding song. It's initially quite intriguing sounding in all honesty. It uses a sample from a sermon of this dude preaching, and Kanye takes the most striking vocal moments and flips it into a distortion heavy, almost metallic sounding beat. It's not a bad beat, but again, I was just waiting for it to be built upon in a cool way. Kanye's performance feels tired. I like this one part where he interacts with the sample, making the sermon finish his sentence, but considering how surface level it was, it just feels like he's trying to recapture that tradition, and he doesn't really do this on the rest of the album. The lyrics themselves are, well, I guess it's time to actually talk about the lyrics. Here's a good transition between the production and the performance. I've spent most of this review dogging on the blandness and emptiness of these beats, but I would be lying if I said they were all bad. Whatever works is probably the closest the album comes to a song that I actually enjoy, and that's entirely for the production. It's still not on the level of his golden era of production, but it's close. It's a nice sounding beat, and if something similar was on the track list of a Ninth Wonder instrumental album, I wouldn't bat an eye. It just doesn't feel like Kanye used his own beat to its full potential. On the chorus, he uses a technique that he previously mastered on albums like The College Dropout, which is flipping words and using homophones and interesting repetition. Go to work or whatever, she said whatever works. He flips the words whatever and works to mean different things. Cool. It's a far cry from how he's used words in the past, but sure, cool. Now, the verses. The verses feel like they're ready to branch off into insightful storytelling or introspection, but they mainly just nod off into cringe statements and bars about luxury cars. All falling for the fake news, man I'm logging off, is a line from Whatever Works. Kanye, you are the biggest perpetrator of falling for and creating all new sorts of fake news. Throughout many of these lyrics, it just sounds like he's trying to take the high road and sound like he's above us, and after all the shit he's done, it comes across so ridiculously. I don't necessarily want to get into all that shit said and done, but I feel like it's an elephant that needs to be addressed, and I feel like I deserve to rant after I've broken down how mid the production is in my opinion. Kanye has thoroughly destroyed his reputation over the past 15 years, from saying slavery was a choice, to donning MAGA hats, to calling for the freedom of multiple convicted abusers, to saying awful stuff about Jay-Z and Beyonce's kids, to all his Nazi garbage, to all his white supremacy garbage, to this, to that. He has done insane amounts of damage that he can't just come back from. And I read his little apology, and it's not enough. Some of it makes sense and seems sincere, and I'm glad he's taking care of his mental health, but the lack of specificity to what he's apologizing for, and the attitude across the lyrics of this album, makes me believe that he's not all that serious about it, and it's mighty convenient that he's trying to win back public opinion right as a new album cycle is rolling out. It's just not enough, not even close. We don't have to worry, and we don't have to hold on to pain we left behind. Wounds get healed with time. That's a lyric from All the Love, track 4 of Bully. It's impossible to ignore the context around lyrics like this. You should be worrying about the pain you caused when there's so many mountains of it, and you haven't fully confronted it. Lyrics like this are ones where he talks about kicking the ego out the door, or having the system figured out, or how he feels silence, or lyrics on politics, all feel so ironic and tone deaf. It feels like he thinks he could take the high road and come across as this unafraid free speaker, and it's just like, nah. Performing skills on the decline, weird auto-tune filters, seldom impressive wordplay or rhyme schemes, cringe statements, forgettable hooks.
You wish I'd be quiet.
You are exactly correct, Kanye. I'm giving this album a 3 out of 10. There's definitely more parts I could go in depth about. I didn't even mention White Lines, my least favorite on the album, where he interpolates a song by the Carpenters in a very embarrassing manner. But mentioning every song would all boil down to the same issues I already presented. There are good snippets and moments on this album, but none of them felt properly built up or part of a complete picture in any way. All of these songs will be forgotten by me, none will be added to any playlists. It doesn't feel like a real album, it feels like a collection of half-assed ideas, and it made me mad. This album made me so mad that I immediately went to listen to an album that I'd been meaning to listen to for a long time, The College Dropout. The College Dropout was the most refreshing thing I could possibly listen to coming off of Bully. You have to realize that Kanye genuinely used to be an inspiring figure with real things to say, presented with skill and passion. Like, that's why it's so aggravating to see what he's devolved to, because he used to be genuinely inspiring. So with that out of the way, let's get into The College Dropout. The production is incredible. Most of the songs use a similar formula to the one I talked about with Still Dreaming. They're all super polished and fully formed. I know it's weird to start with the last song, but Last Call is a perfect example of Kanye's production. The main sample used is Mr. Rockefeller by Bette Midler. The instrumental is a loop section of the song's opening with the doggone drum break over it, and then a vocal sample is used for the hook with Bette singing Here's to the Rock, sped up in Kanye's signature chipmunk soul sample sound. There's also a tiny sample of She's Gone to Another by the Whatnots that's only played for a little instrumental flair in the main loop, and it's so impressive how he found that tiny little clip just to splash onto an already great beat to make it come together just that much more clearly. That's really the magic of this era of Kanye. Not only is it an incredible beat with all the elements harmonizing sonically, it's also a meaningfully used sample, with the song giving thanks to Jay-Z and his label Rockefeller Studios. The song is nearly 13 minutes, with the same beat being played throughout, mostly as a background to Kanye telling a spoken word story, and it never gets boring to me, because the beat is so replayable and nice to listen to. There's more examples of this style like Never Let Me Down or All Falls Down or Spaceship, but there's also some incredible variety on this album's production. Jesus Walks has one of the most distinct beats with the chantings and cinematic drum rolls that give you this feeling of marching on into war. It's very cinematic and effective. Breathe In, Breathe Out has a more anthemic party sound, using mainly a low-pitched guitar sample with added saxophone and string elements to make this one of his catchiest and replayable songs on the album. The new Workout Plan has some of the wildest production. I don't know if this song has no sample or if it just hasn't been found, but it has that chopped up sample sound with this snippet of strings over the smooth beat and juicy bass line, making up a great party jam. Slow Jams is a great example of using the production to its full potential. It mainly pulls from a Luther Vandross song, and the beat itself isn't anything new from what we expect, but the content of the song interacting with the sample and beat is what makes it so special, with his entire song being a love letter to R&B and soul samples, and the building blocks of hip-hop production and Kanye's production. It's incredible. No matter what song you pick out, you'll find a fully polished and complete sound across the production and beat. Before transitioning into the lyrics, I want to mention the skits and the comedy of this album. This album is extremely funny. The dude on the opening skit and the graduation day skit has the funniest voice ever, and he was absolutely cracking me up.
Kanye, can I talk to you for a minute?
Me and the other faculty members was wondering, could you do a little song?
The workout plan skit was charming, and the I'll Fly Away interlude was nice, but the skits that had me rolling around and crying were the school spirit skits. Not only is it thematic to the album and well-written satire, but the guy performing it had the perfect inflections and cadence.
I was actually in school all while my dad was in school. He was so greedy with degrees, he took my degree.
Kanye himself had no shorting of one-liners and comedic lyrics like, "She's got a light-skinned friend look like Michael Jackson, got a dark-skinned friend looked like Michael Jackson" on slow jams, or the "always had a PhD, pretty huge dick," followed immediately by Kanye comparing giving head to a less impressive man, a whale using a toothpick on Breathe In, Breathe Out. He makes great use of references and interpolations, using the "eat pieces of shit for breakfast" line from Happy Gilmore or the "allow myself to introduce myself" line from Austin Powers. He also uses comedy in tandem with the genuinely impressive lyricism, with a line like, "Mayonnaise-colored Benz, I push miracle whips," or the incredible, "My money was thinner than Sean Paul's goatee hair. Now Jean-Paul Gaultier, cologne fill the air." Of course, he also uses this lyricism to spit some genuinely smart ideas, and with that, I'll get into the thematic content. We Don't Care is a great intro to these themes with the iconic hook, "Drug dealing just to get by, stack your money till it gets sky high, we wasn't supposed to make it past 25, joke's on you, we still alive. Throw your hands up in the sky and say we don't care what people say," which opens up the themes of nonconformity in society and a rejection of the one-size-fit-all ideology, while also commenting on societal issues present in poor black communities.
But as a shorty, I looked up to the dope man. Only a dope man, I knew that wasn't broke, man.
School Spirit is a song that explores similar ideas with the sarcastic hook going through college chants and verses focused on breaking down the arbitrary lines between the good kids and the troubled kids. And this is what I mean when I say Kanye used to be genuinely inspiring. The message on this song could be so touching to young kids who feel ostracized in school, and the album could be truly confidence boosting.
Told them I finished school and I started my own business. They say, oh, you graduated. No, I decided I was finished chasing y'all dreams and what you got planned. Now I spit it so hot, you got tan.
This album gets into these societal issues and big topics, but at the end of the day, it's a super personal album with songs like Through the Wire, going through Kanye's devastating car crash and the effects he dealt with. The whole track is wrapped in a way where Kanye keeps his teeth clenched to allude to literally speaking through the wire or literally having his mouth wired shut from a jaw fracture, fitting perfectly with the vocal sample.
Good dude, bad night, right place, wrong time, in the blink of an eye, his whole life changed.
All Falls Down is a similarly personal song touching on Kanye's relationship with consumerism and all his insecurities.
I say the police, that's how I treat them. We buy our way out of jail, but we can't buy freedom. We'll buy a lot of clothes, but we don't really need them. Things we buy to cover up what's inside.
He brings up many other social issues, but he also has many songs that simply play out as party jams or songs about girls and braggadocious tracks. Even on songs like this, and on songs geared towards the ladies, they come across as more respectful than most songs in this genre tend to be, with Kanye rapping about girls deserving more and finding the right man. There's really not much at all to complain about with this album besides Jay-Z's vocal mixing sounding slightly weird on Never Let Me Down, or small nitpicks like that. Every style he tries, every idea he brings up, it's all done with care and polish. As a last bit of commentary, I want to talk about Spaceship, my favorite song on the album. It brings together everything that makes this album special in the most beautiful way. The beat is built around a Marvin Gaye sample with this chopped up ooh vocal and this heaven knows hook. The drum suits the sample perfectly and harmonizes with it to give it that much more punch. The song features a catchy chorus from Kanye and 3 verses, 2 of them being features. Kanye's opening verse uses that incredible sarcasm and comedy while also diving into some of the richest thematic lyrics about how he feels trapped by society, both when he's down in the dumps poor and when he's famous, highly surveilled and exploited. Particularly how this relates to systemic racism as a whole. The line, "If my manager insults me again, I will be assaulting him," being the perfect one-liner to open up the song before diving into these interesting topics. GLC and Consequence brings some great stuff to the table as well, with the great rhyme schemes and charisma from the former, and some especially vivid storytelling and commentary from the latter. It's just a perfect song, and it represents everything magical about Kanye as an artist, when at his full potential.
I've been working this great shift, and I ain't made shit. I wish I could buy me a spaceship and fly.
I'm giving The College Dropout a 9 out of 10. Go listen to it, and don't listen to Bully. And that's my piece. Anyways, that's about it for this week's episode. Expect a more consistent schedule from now on, as I'm back on track, and apologies for all the missed episodes lately. Check out Review Ronny on YouTube and Instagram for info and archives on the show, and before I let you listeners go, it's time for Ronny's Joke of the Week. It seems like Kanye hasn't made a good album in quite some time. He should probably drop out of music, am I right? See you next time on Ronny's Reparative Reviews.
Hey, Ronny. Ronny?
Good reviews?
Fabulous reviews.
This is Ronny. Make it good.
Suppose Ronny could have been a
Reviewer.
It's Ronny, all right.
Ronny?
Reviews.
Fabulous reviews.
And this is the best review we got.